Let's give it up.
Well, good day, everybody. It is October 7th, 2018. I'm Lance Goolsby, coming to you live from the GDA studios in Schweinfurt, Germany, or actually just outside of Schweinfurt, Germany now. I want to say hello to a couple of the people that are watching right now. Mildred Homan is in Ohio, and then Matty Tomani and his father are checking us in. I believe they're in Wisconsin. I'm not entirely sure on that one. But I want to thank everybody for coming in and checking out the show today. Today we're going to actually have a pretty decent show. We're going to be talking about locations. Location. Exactly how you find a location. How do you determine that a location is going to be any good to metal detect? And exactly what to look for when you don't have access to computers or anything else, such as ground markings and anything. Oh, that's right. Matt and Maddie are from New Jersey. I totally forgot about that. Man, I'm about as thick as a brick, guys. Sorry about that. And so, yeah, that's going to be the idea of the show today. So we're going to be listening to that. And if you guys want to join, feel free to give me a buzz. You can contact me directly on Facebook Messenger, and everybody is welcome to come in. If you don't have me added as a friend, make sure you do. We're also going to visit a couple areas. We're going to be heading over to Adelaide, Australia, and talking about something that was located there. And then we'll be in Willits, California, excuse me. Man, I don't know what I was thinking about that one. And then we're going to be talking about a really good find that I really do enjoy. It was located somewhere near Columbus, Ohio. So we're going to be talking about that one, and I'm going to give a little bit of history on that one. I'm going to give a little bit of history on a couple of finds. That's just me. But I thought I would go ahead and start the show off. Like I said, if you want to go ahead and give us a call while this show is live, and it is only live as of right now. This is Sunday, October 7th. If you are getting this on the iTunes or Spreaker, websites or your subscriptions, whatever it is that you do, it's going to be Monday. Sorry, I had a brain freeze up right there and don't know exactly what was going on. All right, well, we got Brooklyn, New York, so it looks like we got a lot of people from the East Coast, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, which is kind of good because, Mildred, we're going to be going to Ohio with one of the finds later on. So, and hello to Anthony Cosenza. Yeah, I think I didn't actually say that wrong. Wow, that's pretty amazing for myself. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be kind of going around and talking about these finds. But first, I want to talk about locations. That's one of the biggest things because I watch some of these people that are in the United States, like on the West Coast, East Coast, and they are able to like walk through wooded areas and determine, yeah, this is an old Civil War site. And I'm like, how do they do that? I got a friend, Butch Holcomb and Laszlo Els and a couple other people, D.A. Frank. They can just literally walk through the woods and find old campsites from the Civil War. And I just don't understand how they can do that. They don't have access at that point to, internet or anything else. Or if they do, I'm not entirely sure how they do it. But it just trips me out how people are able to locate such great find and search areas with so little information. For me, I really do in satellite. I go into Google Earth and I go into historic imagery and I look for old maps of the area to try and find old trails and little villages that have maybe disappeared, but it's not quite as overgrown as it is in the United States or in some other areas. I know people that are in the UK. They're able to do this as well. They can walk across fields and one or two swings. They're able to determine that an old house used to be on the site. Which I wish we had that opportunity here in Germany, but we don't. Pretty much the way the land is laid out now is the way it was at the time. The towns have gotten much bigger. Luckily, me and the rest of the treasure hunters of Schweinfurt, we have permissions that are right on the edge of a town that has not expanded in that direction. So the places that we're searching are still historic areas that the roads used to pass right through there. And so we were able to find those roads and paths. And that's where we're digging up all these coins from the 1700s. It's really fun. But as far as going back to areas, I want to talk about some of the things that I do know, such as, walking through a forested area, looking for ground, what is it called? Some kind of a ground formations or anything that's on the ground that looks disturbed, how that might be perceived as being something that is a location to be worth digging. And this is the kind of things that I'm really questioning. So that's why I'm wondering if anybody that's in the United States, Matt, if you have any kind of information on that one, that would be really great to talk about, because I know that you're got a lot of Civil War and everything else up in that area as well. So I'd like to hear your input, and then if I can get someone from the South as well to let me know what they look for when they're walking around metal detecting, or looking for a site to metal detect. What do you guys actually look for? So please, if you get a chance, give me a buzz in on Facebook, and I'll bring you onto the show, and we can definitely talk about that. For myself, one of the things I'm looking for is, I know that a lot of the towns over here in Europe, they haven't changed too much over the last several hundred years. The one town that we metal detect, I'm just not going to say the name of it right now, because I know that I got a couple people that are listening from the area, and I'm not going to give out locations of where everybody's out metal detecting, but so yeah, the town that we're at, I located an old map that was from the late 1700s and all the way up to 1864. I think it's 3 maps that I located. And I was able to actually take a photograph. I took a direct, straight down photograph, or if it was a digital map, I was able to take that digital photograph, and using Google Earth, I was able to locate the major points and locate and size it to match the maps that are on Google Earth. And then they allow you to actually put a transparency on it. So you can keep it where you can just barely see the original map on top of the modern map and see exactly where the roads used to lay and everything else. You'll notice that a lot of the historic roads, especially over here in Europe, a lot of the roads are in the same locations. They haven't changed the road layouts almost any. But what they have done is that they have, I'll start lining up those roads and look for a church, make sure that church is lined up, and then corners and everything else. Once I have that, I have the idea that I am generally laying it out in the correct position. A place that, that transparency is in there, and then I can look onto the modern day Google Earth map and get an idea exactly what it is that might be missing that was there before. So a road, the way the path that the road used to take, I might be able to notice that, in the 1700s, it came straight out of a town, but starting in the late 1800s, it took a small detour to the right to make access for more modern roadways. And these are exactly the things that you're trying to look for. Once you find that, then you can go into the historic imagery in Google Maps and start looking backwards in time, based on the different years and the different times that they were able to take satellite imagery of those areas, and determine if you can see any kind of ground markings in as an example, in the fields where I metal detect, if you can see what used to be a roadway, that's going to be a discoloration of the ground soil due to the heavy traffic of people and animals walking over it. It's going to cause it to compact a lot more than a regular field. So when you look at it from the satellite imagery, more compact soil is going to be a little bit lighter color than the rest of it. And during the years of plowing and everything else, what might be a 3 meter wide road is going to be about 6 or 8 meters wide now, because at least the markings of it. So now you just need to get out there and do it. And that's what I look for personally when I'm looking for permissions. So, Matt Tomani, he looks for trees and plants that are not from the area, which is actually a really good idea. I didn't think of that one. And the reason is that, a lot of people, when they move into an area, let's say settlers, that does really make sense. Settlers will come in and create a homestead in the area. And what they'll do is they'll plant stuff around them that, they want. And so it makes a lot of sense. There would be, if you're walking through a forest and you see an apple tree sitting around somewhere, that's going to be something that's going to cause your interest to peak up. And that does really make a lot of sense. I know a lot of people who are up in the Maine area, I think it is. I'm not entirely sure exactly where they're at. They look for, when they're walking through the wooded areas, they look for indentations in the ground, which they look like, I guess you could almost call it a crater nowadays. But back in the day, that would have been the root cellar for a house. And over time, the walls had just caved in. So it creates that concave look like a crater in the ground. They get an idea that based on the size, if it's going to actually be an old homestead or if it's going to be, something else altogether. So that's one of the things that a lot of people out there look for as well. And yeah, Andy, great that you could join the show, Andy O'Neill. Thank you. Yeah, I'm in Germany. I'm in Bavaria, Germany, actually, and so I have a bigger difficulty metal detecting over here than a lot of guys over in the United States and England have. I know a lot of the guys in England, they do have a lot of shrapnel as well. But the area where I'm at is Schweinfurt, Germany, and it was a heavily targeted area in World War II. So the United States bombed the ball bearing factories in town to try and slow down the German war machine. But what had happened from the Germans is that they, in turn, tried to put up as many anti-aircraft machine guns and cannons around this town as possible. I think at one point we had, what was it? I think they counted 300 or 400 gun emplacements around the town. And they were shooting the, I think it was 40 and 60 millimeter flak bullets that would fly up in the air and explode next to the aircraft. So if you watch those old the war movies where the paratroopers are flying through the air and they got those bombs exploding in the air next to the aircraft, or the bombers that are flying and the bombs are exploding next to it. That's what I have to deal with here in Germany, because the problem is that sure, it explodes in the air, but it comes down and lands all over the place. And that's exactly what is happening with my finds over here. And it's just really, really tough. So, yeah, I might have a really great location. But one of the biggest problems is that that location is going to be completely littered with shrapnel. It's I'm trying to think if I even have any sitting up here right now. I don't have any sitting right beside me. My finds case is outside. But if I do get the chance to share with you guys one of the days the difficulty of metal detecting over here, I'll let you know. Shell casings we do have. The other problem is that there was a U.S. Army base right here in town. And so if you want to go metal detect the wooded area here in town, the biggest problem with that is that the military had a tendency to actually use the wooded areas as their training areas. And so there are quite literally thousands upon thousands of blank bullet casings all over the place. And no, Matt, it's not lead. It's not lead. The problem with the stuff that's falling back to the ground, it's brass. So we could be metal detecting a field, and we're getting beautiful signals, coin signal after coin signal after coin signal, and it's actually going to be a chunk of brass that was the casing for the anti-aircraft explosive. So it causes a huge issue because, you know, we get these really great coin signals, and it just ends up being one piece after another of these anti-aircraft bullets. Hola, Dirk. ¿Cómo está? Dirk Ayala from Yelm just joined in as well. So, ¿cómo está? Gracias, Dirk. So, yeah, those are the things. I know in Mexico they have a lot of homesteads and a lot of old villages that are sitting around. I've seen some videos of people metal detecting ghost towns in Mexico, and I am just absolutely in awe of some of the stuff that they find down there. So, Dick, if you're down in Mexico, I wish you the best of luck down there metal detecting. If we can get anybody to call into the show, just give me a buzz on Facebook Messenger. Feel free to actually do that. For what I'm going to do right now, though, is I'm going to go over some of the finds of the week that I've pulled out that I've really enjoyed looking at during this last week on the Global Detection Adventures site. And so what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be talking about a find that Josh Brokelman actually located. Josh Brokelman is from Adelaide, South Australia. Big hello to all the fans down there in Australia. Thank you so much for listening in. Brokelman. Wow, he's got a very German name, Brokelman. Brokelman is, like I said, a metal detector down in Adelaide, and he came up with he found a really beautiful 1902 coronation medal. Now, these were commemorative medals. There were hundreds and hundreds of them made during that year, because it was the 1902 was the coronation of King Edward VII and his wife Queen Alexandra, and these coins could be bought just about all over the place. And the one that he found, I actually was trying to do some research on this one. I wasn't able to find this exact same one, but it's a really, really beautiful metal coin. On the front side, it's got a picture of King Edward VII and Queen Alexandria, and on the back, it actually says coronation year 1902, and it's got the coat of arms of the British royal family. Really, really beautiful condition. It's not worn. It is in really beautiful condition. It's a real beautiful coin, or necklace pendants. Really, really loved looking at that one. I am a history guy, and so that was one of the reasons that I really did like this one. And I was like, well, what was going on in Australia during 1902? And there isn't a whole lot that happened in 1902, as odd as it is. 1902. So anyway. I was looking into what was happening in Australia at the time when King Edward VII and Queen Alexandria was coronated, and there's not a whole lot. I mean, there was a horrible one in Mount Kembla, a mining disaster, a coal gas explosion killed 96 people. On the 31st of July in 1902. This is a great one. The Commonwealth Franchise Act granted most Australian women the right to vote and stand in federal elections, which I don't understand what most is. But that was on the 12th of June, 1902. And then really there's nothing else that was really happening. Good morning, Mr. Crunkmeyer. Glad you could make it in today. Um, yeah, Etta Evans became the first female law graduate in Australia on the 26th of December 1902. That's quite a Christmas present. And for anyone that happens to be there, Brisbane was declared a city on the 26th of December 1902. Boy, a lot of things have really picked up around there since then. It seems like 1902 was a pretty slow year for Australia. But anyway, that pennant is absolutely fantastic. I love seeing that. So congratulations to John Brokelman. That was a really, really great find. And thanks for sharing that with Global Detection Adventures. Make sure you guys keep posting on Global Detection Adventures the finds that I truly do like. I'm going to be talking about, and I'm going to be sharing with the rest of the world. So the next one that I want to talk about is from Scott Birch. I told him about this one. Now, Scott Birch, but anyway, Scott Birch is from Columbus, Ohio. I don't know where that went to, but he was from Columbus, Ohio. And one of the things that he found really talks to me as well. For anybody that knows Cracker Jacks, in the United States, it's a toffee coated popcorn and peanuts. It's been around for, 120, 130 years. Really popular, especially with children because they have toys inside. And so they do have the toys inside. And so when you open a package of Cracker Jacks, you get something in it. And anybody that's old like me, they remember that there were some decent toys in there at the time. And people older than me remember that there was even better toys in there at one point. And nowadays it just seems like it's a lick and stick tattoo for children. But there was a time when the prizes inside Cracker Jacks were something absolutely fantastic. And in the 1930s, the Cracker Jack Company created what was called the Cracker Jack Mystery Club. And the Mystery Club was kind of like, if you think of those old stories or the old movies where they had like the decoder rings and everything else, it was this kind of a situation. But in order to become a member of the Cracker Jack Mystery Club, you had to send it into the Cracker Jack Company. So you found one of these coins, and they happened to have the presidents of the United States. And so Scott Birch, when he was out metal detecting, he found a 1934 President Martin Van Buren Cracker Jack Mystery Club coin, which is absolutely, in my books, that is one of those things that belongs, if you're watching this live on the video, you're seeing the toys and everything behind me. I am a toy collector, and that is exactly one of the ones that would have been on there, right inside these things. Because I love these kind of finds. They talk about the history and the kind of things that children were looking at the time. So this coin was made by the Scoville Manufacturing Company of Waterbury, Connecticut during the 1930s. And we already know that his was in 1934. Scoville was established in 1802 as a button manufacturer and is still in business today. I'm getting this information from Smithsonian Institute itself. I mean, that's how important these coins are. There's a set of these coins sitting inside the Smithsonian Museum in Washington, D.C. So Scoville was an early industrial American innovator adapting armory manufacturing process to mass produce a variety of consumer goods. These coins could be mailed to Cracker Jack to become a Mystery Club member. So these are absolutely fantastic. Now, you can't see these coins in the Smithsonian. They don't have them sitting out on display, but a set of these coins, a complete set, are sitting in the Smithsonian Institute. So yeah, this is absolutely a beautiful find and such a historical piece. Really, really do love this thing. Now, for those who don't know, Martin Van Buren was the 8th president of the United States from 1837 to 1841. So he had his full 4-year term, and so that was yeah, but he had his full 4-year term and was then quickly beat out. Excuse me. By William Harrison, I believe it was. Let me double check this. I think William Henry. Yep, in 1841. But he only served a very short time as president of the United States because he served the shortest term because he died of pneumonia 30 days after his inauguration. And so he was quickly replaced by John Tyler, who then served from 1841 to 1845. But anyway, if anybody wants to know, I currently have no upcoming events. Hopefully, starting next year, I will have events lined up. Looks like if I do have events, they will be taking place in the UK. Or if there's going to be any kind of a metal detecting festival here in mainland Europe, I'll let you guys know. If I get invited to anything, feel free to invite me to anything. I would love to actually record a podcast in front of a live audience and bring people up onto the show and actually talk with them directly. So, Andy, thanks for listening, first of all. And that's so you know, I'm hoping with all hope and crossed fingers and everything else that I'll make it out to Detectival next year and hopefully be able to sit up on stage, record a couple episodes of the podcast, and interact with you guys sitting out there in the audience. Bring some people up onto the stage and actually sit and talk about stuff and just have a good laugh right there in front of everybody. And yeah, Richard, I did make it back to Omaha this summer. There was a surprise vacation for everybody. I flew at the end of June out to Omaha, Nebraska to spend time with my birth mother out there. And then as a surprise, because this is my parents' 50th wedding anniversary this year, and so as a surprise, I flew out to Washington State to be with my parents, my adoptive parents, and they were absolutely dumbfounded when we showed up. We drove up to their house. My wife and I drove up to their house and just took a picture of the front of their house and sent a text to them. And all it said was knock knock. And so my dad was curious. So he walked out the front of the house and we were standing there in front of my sister's truck there. So yeah, that was really a great experience. But yeah, I got out to Omaha. Didn't do any metal detecting out there. It was some really bad weather while we were there, sadly enough. Really wet during the time, which is rather odd. It was extremely humid. Oh man, that was really bad that time. But Seattle ended up being really, really beautiful. Pardon me. That'll teach me to drink a soda before I come upstairs. So yeah, that was the coin from Scott Birch. Now I want to head on over to Willits, California. We have from Ed Deaton. Ed Deaton found a real beautiful heart ring in the last couple days. Not entirely sure when he posted this. Let me double check this. He posted this find. Where am I now? He posted this find 10 hours ago. So really beautiful silver heart ring. As usual, once I get done here, I'll post a link to all the finds directly below the video in the Facebook group. If you are only listening over podcasts on iTunes or Spreaker or anywhere else that you get podcasts, first of all, if you're getting this from iTunes, please leave a rating and a comment on iTunes. Help me kind of bump up a little bit on the hobbies podcast ratings, and it'll get us back up there into the top. It really helps us out. It helps us by getting and reaching more people out there, and we would really definitely love to help it. And Metal Detecting Cow and myself would definitely love to hear any kind of feedback on there as well. But yeah, so if you don't come into the Global Detection Adventures Facebook group, you're going to miss out on these live videos. And within the next couple months, myself, 42, and Matt, we're going to be starting a Patreon and hopefully getting you guys some really, really good getting some really, really good swag. I guess you could definitely call it that. We'll have 3 levels of membership that people can do. You donate a couple bucks each month, which helps keep the show up and running, because hosting a podcast online and keeping all the episodes for anybody to go back and listen to old episodes, it costs I have to end up putting out a lot of money, and so this just kind of helps, with a little bit of the costs of everything. I'm not expecting too much, but, if people want to do that, that helps us really reach out and get a lot better stuff. And then, as a payback, and just like Dirk Ayala said, and by the way, Dirk, I feel your pain. Everything that you see in here, in the last couple months, I have put together, and so that's all I did was listen to podcasts and put every single piece of furniture, including this desk, the microphone stands, everything that you see in here, just in the last 4 months has been put together. But yeah, for people who are in the upper tier, in the higher tier, upper 2 tiers, there will be one where you can donate anything up to, let's say, $5 a month. I don't know. And then once you get up to $5, we might offer a T-shirt for the people that do that. And for either $10 or $20 a month, and these are monthly donations, we might offer, I'm thinking $10 a month. What we'll probably do is we'll send you guys a T-shirt. We'll probably get a hat made, and we're looking into creating, for those of you who know I do collect toys, it's pretty easy to see behind me, but they have what's called Lego minifigures, right? We're currently looking into creating the Global Detection Adventures Lego minifigure. So it's a figure just like this that is holding a little metal detector, and it has the GDA logo on his T-shirt. So it's not a Star Wars figure like this one. But we'll probably have something like that for you guys, where you come with his own little stand that he'll stand on, and get a T-shirt. And it should also give you access to what we're hoping is going to be coming soon. This is the other reason we need to kind of have a Patreon where people donate. We want to open a website that is for subscribers. So if you're in the $5 and higher tier, you'll have access to a website, which is going to be kind of a website with a forum kind of situation, is what I'm kind of envisioning. But what it's going to do is it's going to give everybody very special, it's going to give everybody a very special, bonus content kind of behind the scenes, maybe day in the life of myself or day in the life of 42, who I don't think she's even been on video yet. So 42, you need to get on that. And then we'll get Matt out of the United States. And so there's, you got bonus content coming from the United States, Germany, and Australia. So that's really great stuff. Plus, get access to T-shirts. Most likely the little figure. Dick says window decals. That's a really great idea. The circular GDA logo would look really good on the back window. So there'll be things we're going to be working on that. So if there's anything else you guys want as far as that, let me know. But like I was saying, go over to iTunes, click subscribe, leave a comment, leave a rating, and let us know exactly how I'm doing. If you're just sick and tired of me sitting here and yammering the whole time, feel free to write that as well. I don't care. It just helps boost us up a little bit in the iTunes ratings. So anyway, I want to get back to Ed Deaton. So yeah, he found this little silver ring. It's just an absolute beauty. It's got four hearts on this silver ring. It looks like it's a 925 silver. Really beautiful, really small ring. It might even be a child's ring. I can't be entirely sure. We'll definitely find out from Ed Deaton during the course of the next couple weeks. But like I said, he's in Willits, California. It looks like you found this one on the beach or near the beach. So anybody that's in Willits, California, make sure you hit with him because he's finding some silver already out there, and that's something I truly love. Well, anybody want to let me know or give me a buzz in, feel free to hit me up on Facebook Messenger, and we'll definitely sit and talk. The main thing that I wanted to talk about today was locations, how you come up with a location where you want to go metal detect. So, yeah, feel free to let me know. I would love to know the different ways. Next week, we're going to be talking about the different soil types and how to set up your metal detector. So I definitely need to get some people to come in who have different kind of metal detectors and let me know exactly what you guys do to set everything up. I would really love to hear your input. Notice there's no music today. I've got to get with some bands and see if I can get permissions to get a couple more songs listed on here. But hopefully, we'll get some bands. It'll definitely be coming back. Their radio show, people love the format, seems like. I think you guys are loving the way the show has kind of migrated. And I'm really enjoying doing this, doing the live version in front of you guys. 2 technical difficulties today, which I do not understand. I've never had that much yet in one day, and 2 different ones. First of all, my software just stopped recording for some reason. It had an overload, and today, Facebook just decided my face was too ugly to stream live and quit. So, anyway, if nobody's going to call in, I'm going to call it a day. I know a lot of you guys in the United States want to get out metal detecting, except Dirk, who's putting together a TV stand for the wife. Congratulations. Happy wife, happy life. And that's the way it is here. I got a lot of people letting me know that I need to make sure that I get some bread and stuff from the baker on the way, because it is Germany and we have some of the best... the bakers here in Europe. Yeah, besides maybe France, but I'm just gonna say Germany has the best. I think Daniel Ainsworth will agree with me. That's one of my members of the Treasure Hunters of Schweinfurt, Daniel Ray, and we go out quite a bit. I wasn't able to make it out this week. I had night shift, so I was either working nights or sleeping days, feeling like a vampire. You can call me Count Dracula Lance, but yeah, so, and then they went out several times, not entirely sure how everything went. I know GDA Ryan found several silver coins again. We're really hammering this fields that we got permissions for, and I really can't wait to get back out there. Silver coins. I mean, if you guys watched the show last week, we're finding silver coins like these non-stop out on these fields, and they're all 1700s. It is absolutely insane what this field is popping up. This one doesn't look silver, but it is silver. It was a silver copper mix, and the mix on that one was off. So there's it kind of oxidized way too much, and I wasn't able to pull the silver back. So we got a really great field, and Daniel just said that they just got done detecting out there. I don't want to know how many silver coins you found out there today, but yeah. So that's it for me, guys. Next week, like I said, we're going to be talking about soil types and how to adjust your metal detector for the different types of soils. So I need as many people to get in touch with me. I'll make sure I leave a question and answer sheet, a poll up on the Facebook group, which is Global Detection Adventures on Facebook. And you guys can leave some comments there. And if you like, just let me know. I'll get you onto the show next week. Hopefully, if everything turns out right, we're going to be having a very special guest come back into the show. We're hoping that Siren Kimmy is going to be finally able to come back onto the show. She's slowly getting back into the swing of metal detecting after the hurricane really ravaged the town where she lives. I used to live there as well, so we were talking a bit about some of the locations that just flooded. And there were places in that town that were between 12 and 13 feet covered in water, which is just absolutely horrible. Just because they happen to be in depressions in North Carolina, and that rainwater just really flooded that spot. So yeah, we're gonna be getting her on the show. So make sure you let me know if you want to come onto the show next week and talk about soil conditions and what it is that you do with your detector to get ready. And make sure you check us out on Instagram. We're finally there, people. Global Detection Adventures is on Instagram. I don't have the information with me, but if you're on Instagram, make sure you use the hashtag GDA pod, P-O-D, on any finds and posts that you put on there. That'll link it straight to us. We'll be able to see it, and we'll be able to share with the rest of the world. It's been active for just a couple days, and we're pushing. We're getting, I think, close to 50 followers, and it's just constantly increasing. I am using it more and more. There goes that soda burps again. Man, I got to stop drinking soda before I come upstairs. But yeah, I'm going to be using it more and more to share a lot of stuff, and I might be posting a couple videos on there as well, just to kind of get into the swing of things. And like I said, keep an eye out for Patreon. But that's it for me, everybody. Make sure you check out my other podcast. There is another every Wednesday, or at least we try every Wednesday to release a new episode. And this week we're going to be talking about the New York Comic-Con and a lot of the Star Wars news that's coming out of there. So make sure you head on over there and get some of that news and information. We try to get a little comedy in there as well. And yeah. I mess up a lot. I am the clueless one on the show. So, as far as for me, I got nothing else for you guys. I want to thank every single one of you for being here. And like I always say, we'll see you out on the field. Let's dig it up, y'all.